Hello, friends. This is TeresaLouise. Welcome to Sunday Sew and Chat. It is March 9th already. I cannot believe that it's already March 9th, but it is. So, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. Everything's going well here. We're just getting started, so I'm going to say hello to people joining. I'll try not to spend too much time on that, but as I see you, I will, um, say hi. So today I'm working on this pattern it's called Snowdrift. And this is the pattern that I got out of the Sew Sampler box on the December box of 2024. And I thought it was really cute, so I decided to do it. Now, I am going to make mine bigger. I'm going to do, more blocks. Make it a little bit bigger. So I'm using the fabric that came in the box, and it was called Snowdrift Rosemary Cottage Fat Quarter Bundle. There were 6 pieces. And so I went through my fat quarters from other fabrics and found stuff that would match so I could make more blocks for this. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. Let's see who we have so far. We have Susan from Sewing Sensations by Shady Susan. Hello, Susan. Welcome. Glad you could be here. She was like the first one to say something. Oh, it looks like we have a newbie quilting truck driver. Hello and welcome. Hello, Donna Bogart. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Milena. Hi, Liz. Hello, Judy. Hello, Kathy. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Polly. Hi, Mona. Hi, Terry. Hello, Joyce. Hi, Gladys. Good to see all of you. Hope everybody is doing well today. Hi, Sandra. So, let's see. Yep. So I have only gotten one block done or started. I mean, not done. Okay. Most of the fabrics are all cut. So, I cut all of the fabrics for the blocks. And I still need to cut the sashing and borders and stuff like that, but I'll do it the next time I feel like cutting fabric. Because, you want to get going, You want to get going. So I just cut up some so I could get to sewing. I want to sew. Plus, I want to see what at least one block looks like, right? Gladys is quilting on Daydreams quilt. Oh, nice. I think that's Tula Pink, right? Hi, Bloomin. How are you doing? Welcome. Hi, Dorlyn from Colorado. Okay, so what else are you guys working on? So this is what I have going on, right? Oh, plus these. Now, I know not everybody gets the Sew Sampler box, but if you do and you got this pattern, are you planning on making this quilt? It's called Snowdrift from the December box. And here's more of the fabrics that I got cut up there. And I have Willa in the sewing room, of course. My dog. She's chewing on a bone. So somebody in the chat, let me know, can you hear me okay? I don't have the mic plugged in because I noticed on the last video the sound kind of, sounded weird. So I don't know if that mic is going tits up or what, but if you can't hear me very well, I'll go ahead and plug it in. But if you can hear me okay, I'll just leave it as is. Okay, thank you, Kathy. Yes, sounds great. Mona, have you been working on your jacket? Hi, Laura. No, you're not very late at all. And I don't consider anybody really late, right? So, Snowdrift, that's what I'm working on. Hey Joyce, how are you today? So Mona is working on her jacket today. Hi Marla. All right, so I've already, now if you want to practice doing sew and flips, this is the pattern for you because almost everything you're doing here is a sew and flip, okay? What is a sew and flip, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's when you take a piece of fabric and another piece of fabric that's smaller, and you line those up like this. Now I draw a line from corner to corner on the diagonal, and then you sew on the line, and then you flip this over, right? Press it over, so then it looks like that. So that's what you call a sew and flip. And I'll show you a little bit more what I do. Now, just a tip, I have a lot better turnout on these. If I don't sew right on the line, I sew right on top of the line towards the piece that I'm going to be cutting off. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So right on top of the line. I'm still like sewing with kind of within the color, but just right, on my line, but just right on top of the line. So because when you flip it over, depending on what size thread you use, and this is why, another reason why I use like a lightweight 50 weight thread to piece with, so that my seam isn't very thick. If you use a heavier thread like a 40 or 30, your when you flip that over, your thread is going to be thicker, and so it's not going to lay as flat. So two things I do, I use a lightweight thread, and then I sew right on top of the line that I drew. That way when I flip it over, it has a little more, little extra pull, and it ends up touching the corner, okay? And that's what you want, because you want it to end up to be the same size as what you started with. So let me show you. Okay, so here's one I've already done. And so you want them to line up perfectly. That was pretty good. But only because I sewed it that way. And this line is so, Let me draw the line on here so it's a little darker so I can show you maybe what I'm talking about. I don't know if I had a darker thread, you might be able to see it, but I'll hold it up to the camera. So there's my line, and I don't know if you can see my thread or not, but it's like right on top of that line all the way down. So I'm in the corner to corner. Now, when you use a friction pin, I only use the friction pin on things like this where it's going to be in the seam or it's going to be cut off. Because as soon as I press this, the line will go away, right? The line goes away, but some people worry that when it's gets too cold, but you know, I don't think I've ever had a situation where my quilt got too cold where that line would come back. But you never know. Plus, you wash it, and I think it washes out too. No, I'm not using a 60 weight thread, but there are people that do use a 60 weight thread to piece with. Now, usually, or I get Orfill in the sew sampler boxes quite a bit, so I tend to use those. Now, those are 2-ply, and mostly they're 50 weight or 40 weight, but 2-ply Orfill feels thinner to me than normal 40 weight 3-ply thread feels. So I can actually feel the difference in that thread weight. Now I have heard some people say that, yeah, you can use 60 weight. That's pretty light. If you do that, your tension, you're going to have to adjust your tension because that's really light. So remember, every time you change weight on your thread on your machine, you're going to have to adjust your tension, either here on the top and on the bobbin. Now, for those of you who have those automated sewing machines, they have an automated tension adjustment built into those for your bobbins. So usually you don't have to mess with that on those machines. And even my Viking that's automated, it has an automatic tension adjustment up here too, so I don't have to mess with it. There have been a few times on that. You can go into the programming and stuff and adjust it, but it's so much easier on this type of machine. It's just a knob, All right. Hi, Suzanne. Laura says, I typically piece with 50 weight thread. Yeah, me too. And I've also heard that if you're doing foundation paper piecing, that 60 weight thread works pretty good for that. So, but I still just use the 50 weight. Hi, Mel. How you doing? Hi, Melody. Hi, Valerie. I'm just looking here real quick, see if there's anybody. Hi, Joe. Okay. Hi, Netta. How's it going? Hello, Donna Armstrong. Okay. So anyway, I mean, every one of these units for this block has a sew and flip. There's like, each unit has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5 pieces that are, and they're all sew and flips. So you're going to get good at sew and flips with this one, let me tell you. So there's some of my tips on doing sew and flips. All right, so I'm on this one. This one's a double sew and flip. The other thing is, while you're looking at your pattern, it's really easy to get mixed up which corner you're going to put your pieces on, your sew and flips on. So make sure and have your picture and your fabric laid out to where you can make sure you're putting them on correctly. Okay. And Willa is busy today chewing on a bone again. That's her thing. Hi, Carrie. Yeah, me too. I try to keep it simple. I piece my quilt tops with 50 weight, and most of the time I use 40 weight on my long arm, except for I use 50 weight in the bobbin. Because I can get more in the bobbin using 50 weight. So, you know, I just match up the color of the thread. Because I don't change the weight of my thread very often at all, that means I don't hardly have to mess with the tension. Once I get the tension set, then it's good. Hey, Teresa, how's it going? I know, I miss people saying hi to people all the time, Joyce. I try to catch everybody, but I don't always. Doesn't mean I don't love you, though. I just, you know, it really helps when other people say hello to somebody when they come in, because it gives me a chance to actually see it. So I do appreciate that. Truck driver says, I have a lot to learn. Yeah, you know, these are just little tips and tricks. Things that work for me might not necessarily work for somebody, but I like to throw them out there so you can at least give it a try and see if it helps you any. It might not. But then again, it might be, you know, one of those things where you go, oh my goodness, I wish I would have learned this, you know, sooner. Hi, Pat. I'm working on this quilt from the Sew Sampler box called Snowdrift. It did start snowing again a couple of days ago, but it didn't. It snowed like all afternoon, but it it was so warm out through the night and the next day that most of all that new snow is gone. So that is good. Let's see. Valerie says, me too, TeresaLouise. I don't like to mess with the tension. 50 weight works on everything. Yeah, for the most part, I use 50 weight on the long arm, top and bottom. But if I don't have the right color, then I'll go through my 40 weight colors. And I only have to mess with the tension a little bit. So on the top, I don't have to really mess with the bobbin really ever. So Quilting Truck Driver says, Melody, I'm trying to pay attention to all of you. So we have a new quilter. My biggest recommendation would be to start simple. It's really tempting as a new quilter to do something you think is really pretty, like this. But if you don't have your 1/4 inch seam down and, you know, other sewing skills, you're just going to, bang your head on the wall because it just won't turn out. So I recommend starting simple, just sew squares together, like my red and white quilt. Just do a square quilt. Super easy, and you're just doing the same. It's repetitive. You're just doing the same sewing over and over again. And, that way it really helps you get your 1/4 inch seam allowance down. So I say that from experience because when I first started out, I was trying to do some of Missouri Star quilts, and it was some of the, it was like a 9-patch variation or something, I don't know. Anyway, I still have that block. It's an orphan block. I sewed and resewed that thing, I don't know how many times. Finally, I think I wore the fabric out. I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. So I'm like, what? Is there a pattern out there I can do that's just, squares or rectangles, nothing fancy? And so I did a whole quilt like that. And by the time I got that quilt done, I was pretty good at a 1/4 inch seam. Excuse me. Oh boy, Carrie. Oh my gosh. I attempted a double wedding ring for my first quilt. It didn't end well. No, I haven't even done a wedding ring quilt yet. I mean, it is on my to-do list, but that definitely is not a beginner block. Hey, Pat. Yes, Pat, the jelly roll quilt that I was working on, the potato chip variation block that I call the friend chip quilt. That would be a really good one for a beginner. Hi, Meryl. How are you doing? Quilting Truck Driver says, I live close to Missouri Star. Hey, Brandy. How's it going? I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks, Lana. Hey, Brenda. You wish you could see my sewing closer up. You're more of a visual learner. Well, I'm just sewing straight lines, so I'm not really teaching you anything. Are you saying you want to watch the sewing machine? I could bring the camera up closer if everybody wants to watch the sewing machine. I'd be happy to do that. Hi, Carol from the UK. How you doing? Oh, you're a day walker. No more nights. That's awesome, Brandy. Laura says, so my first quilt was a flannel king size, 3-inch finished. I didn't know any better and I just went for it. It's not pretty, but it's done. Well, sometimes that's the most important thing. Yeah, Mona, yeah, I don't have another camera, so. Hi, Lori. But I could bring the camera up a little bit for a while. At least I'll give it a try. Oops. I don't know how close you want to get, but the light looks kind of bright, so it's my day off today and tomorrow, so I'm making some Easter bags and purses for mamas and daughters today. Oh, how nice. You love the fabric, Teresa? Yeah, it came with it in the sew sampler box. That angle looks good. Okay, Carrie. All right. One of these days, I'll get another camera. So for me, okay, here's my foot, right? This is a 1/4-inch foot that came with the machine. And so as I'm sewing along on top of this line, the line is just like right on top of the left side of this foot. So I just line that up. And that really helps me. So you're going to have to find, what works for you with your foot and everything. Oops, I missed one. Yeah, the 1/4-inch is crucial because if you're following a pattern, especially if you're following a pattern, because if you're off, you will just keep going off, and then pretty quick, your quilt will really be off kilter. I think it's really more important to be consistent. So even though if your 1/4-inch isn't exactly a 1/4-inch, say it's a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, just make sure they're all that way. I'd rather have it a little bit smaller than a little bit bigger, because you can always trim some off, but it's really hard to get, put the fabric back on, right? Hey, June, how's it going? Bloomin', I think I've seen you over at Ellen, Ellen's channel from Georgia. Am I right? I think she's in Georgia. And let's see, her grandson Steve and her son Danny. Is that where I've seen? Oh, Rita. Okay, and Rita. Or that's your name, Rita? 94 watching, only 44 likes. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate that. So if you make a mistake at the beginning, keep it up. Yeah, if the mistake isn't too bad, then, just do the same thing. Yes, the Hodges. Yeah, 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 that's where I've seen your name before. My first quilt was trip around the world. Oh, was that pretty hard? I haven't done a trip around the world. Okay, now I'm just go ahead and iron these. Yeah, Steve's place is looking really good. That's too bad about his little goat, though. Now, I always press my sewing flips first before I cut off the extra fabric, because I want to make sure they line up correctly. And it's a lot easier to fix it right now than after you cut it off. So, hey Deb, how's it going? Carrie is busy quilting, so she's not chatting much. So, if it's a little bit off, like right here, it's just a little bit off, not enough to change it. It's like 1/8 of an inch, maybe, not even that. So, anyway. So, like I said, I press them first, make sure they line up. Hey, Mary, how's it going? Hi, Susan. Good to see you, too. And the other thing I do with my units like this is I let them cool completely before I, do any more sewing on them or trimming or anything. I don't know if I'm more picky than most people. I hope not, but I just, have learned from the mistakes that I have made. And so I just try to come up with some way that works for me when sewing or piecing. Hi, Lily. How you doing? And I think the more detailed a quilt is, you know, how more elaborate it is. Hey, Lori, how are you doing? The more careful I become. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Yeah, I try to do things in sections. So while I'm waiting for these to cool off, I can go sew on something else or iron something else, or maybe I need to draw more lines on the back of something, you know, here for my sew and flips. So I just kind of have like a rotating things to do next while I'm waiting for something else, if that makes sense. Hi, Anita. How are you doing? Okay, so those are all stacked up. And then I'm just going to put my ironing press on top of them. I'll move that back over. And then, so now I have these other pieces. So I might move on to drawing some more lines on these because I need those for sew and flips. So while I'm waiting for that to cool, I'll just move on and do something else. A lot of times I just use a pencil to draw my line. And this is just something else I've learned. I don't start at the corner, at the tip with my pencil or my pen. I start in the middle and I go out. And then I go back to the middle and I go out. Because sometimes if you start at your tips, then you pull the fabric, you know, and rip it or smush it or whatever. So, oh, sure, Carrie. Trip around the world is easy. You just have to lay it out. I need to get a pattern for that. Um, I would keep sewing if I had other units to put together, but all my units are done, or all my subunits. So I just need those to cool off, and then I can put those all together. And then I can start putting the blocks together. Deb says, I always start in the middle to mark. Well, I'm not the only one then. Okay. Another beautiful day here. Still quite a bit of snow on the ground. But, okay, let's see if those have cooled off. No, I don't have any glide thread, Terry. I bought, the thread I'm using right now is Omni. It's a superior thread. It's 50 weight, And I actually bought this thread for the long arm, but my long arm does not like it at all. And so I'm got to use it up. So I've been using it over here. All right. Now, get my pattern back out. What state do you live in? I live in Idaho, north central Idaho. Oh, okay. So Lana says, I think Donna Jordan has a free pattern for the trip around the world. Joy says, I start in the middle too. Lily wants to know what everybody's favorite block is with a 4-inch fussy cut. I would just do this is a great little book. For people who are beginner sewers, I definitely recommend this book. The other great thing about it is that it has patterns in the back. So you could do an Ohio star. That would be a good one. Let's see, the center block would be 4-inch. So you would cut it 4.5 inches. So there's the Ohio star. Or you could do the a sawtooth star, which is this one, which would be a little bit easier. And let's see. If you do, what size block is it going to be? Because the center one on this one is for 4.5 inch. That's what you would cut it. But the block size turned out 8 inches. Let's see, what else? Here's a shoe fly block. It has a center. Okay, here's another one. It's called Variable Star. It has a center. You could do the economic block, which is a square and a square. There's also the 9-patch variation. That would be a simple one. You just do a 9-patch. Okay. Here's another one. So the square in the middle would be on point, but it's really cute. Churn dash, that's another one. I really like that block. Friendship star, it has the block in the middle too. So there's quite a few blocks out there that you could do to have a center. I hope that helps. Hi, Katie. How's it going? Yeah, you can fussy cut for your friendship star. Bye, Lana. I know there are a lot of options. Really, really do recommend this book because it tells you, like on those blocks, there's like 3-inch, 6-inch, 9-inch, 12-inch, 15-inch. So they give you you know, a variety of size blocks for each one of these. I was thinking about doing these. There's 20 of them, and we could do a sample quilt. Okay. Oh, I haven't seen that. Good Simple Living. Okay, a fussy cut. I will tell you. What's the name of that book? The all-in-one quilters reference tool. Oh, I'm sorry, it's backwards. Oh, dang it. Sorry about that. All-in-one quilters reference tool. You can get them on from the Fat Quarter Shop. You can get it probably on Amazon. Let's see. Okay, fussy cut is when you have a piece of fabric that there's a design on it that you like and you want to maintain that, so you cut around that design. So, for instance, okay, here we go. All right, so here's a piece of fabric, right? Let's say I wanted to cut this flower out right here. I would take my ruler and I would center my flower there and then cut around it. And that's what fussy cutting is. Hello, Maya Hobby Home. How's it going? Hey, Joyce H. How are you? Hi, Kathy. So, my hobby home, that must be Kathy, huh? I'm guessing. All right. You're welcome, Rita. Kathy, yes. Well, welcome. It's good to see you. Okay, let's see. Now I got to put this unit together. All right. So this one goes here. Oh, darn. I got to cut my corners off. Now, you're going to have a whole bunch of these ends left over. So I haven't thrown any of them away yet. I'm trying to decide whether it's worth keeping them or not. I don't know what I did with it, but I sewed one together. They're pretty small. They're pretty small. See if I can find it. Well, I'll show you how small they're going to be. I'll sew another one together. Pretty small. But still big enough to use. Let me cut those dog ears off. Or cat ears, whatever you want to call them. It is a little bigger than 1 3/4. So you could trim it up to be 1 3/4. So yeah, I think I might save them. That would be really hard to use them as, but yeah, you could use them for leaders and enders, because here's why I say it would be hard for me to use them for leaders and enders, because there are some sewing machines out there that the feed dogs will suck the fabric down in there, especially when you start out sewing on a point. So on a point, all right? So if you start out sewing on a point, you may have seen that I used a scrap piece of fabric, and this is a leader or an ender. This is what they call a leader and an ender. So I sew on that first, and right at the edge of it, I don't go off, but right on the edge of it, my needle is down, and I'm going to slide this up in there. And that kind of holds that in place so it doesn't suck that point down into the feed dogs. But yeah, you could do that. That would work. I repaired a king-size quilt with sunbonnet Sue in every block a couple of times for my former boss, and so I broke down and purchased the acrylic templates set to speed up production. Oh, that's a good idea. Hi, Cheryl. How are you doing? Hi, Giovanna. You know, I thought about stitching the second line, but, you know, I might on some of them. But yeah, that is a good idea. Just go ahead and stitch that second line because you got to cut anyway. And once I wrap up production here on this quilt, I probably will do that. Because right now I just want to get one block done. And then after that, I'll do a bunch of chain piecing, chain cutting, everything kind of like in a production thing. But yes, thanks you for bringing that up. Let's see. My machine eats those points. I start below and the back up in the corner and continue from there. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. My feed dogs on this machine are closer together, so they don't suck down as often, and my needle is really sharp, so that really helps. Don't have a dull needle. If you have a dull needle, it's going to push that fabric into the feed dog. If your needle's sharper, that helps quite a bit. But my Viking feed dog area is wider and, you know, quite a bit different than this Brothers, and it does push the fabric down there. So I'm a little more careful on that machine than this one. All right, let's see. Now this, and this one goes here. This one, nope. This one goes here. And then this one goes here. That's the unit. All right. All right. That looks correct. Hi, Jess. How are you doing? Giovanna says, it is my Bernina dealer says, it is the fabric that dictates the needle you use. Yep. It says that in your book too. And your needle, the needle you use, also dictates the type of thread you should use or the weight of the thread. When I said a sharp needle, I didn't mean the type of needle, just because I know there are needles that are called sharps. I just meant don't use a dull needle. Okay, and get those pressed. Okay, I'm just going to let that cool off a minute. Oh no, Terry, that's a bummer. Jack is visiting. Hey, Katie, how you doing? Mushroom tea? I've never heard of that. Wonder what that tastes like. Oh yeah, some Earl Grey sounds pretty good. I am drinking I might be drinking it. Let me see. Yeah, I'm drinking Earl Grey. Quickly I forget. Susan says, I really should be working on hand quilting. Get to work. French General. Oh, yeah, I love French General, Joyce. Jess is pulling out French General fabrics today to kit up. Oh, awesome. You don't like Earl Grey? I do. I like chai tea better. I think chai is one of my favorites. And then there's that peach tea. I really like peach tea. We have 106 people watching. Welcome, welcome, everybody. If you're just joining, I'm just working on the Snowdrift quilt, and I'm sorry, didn't know everything was backwards. I'm going to have to switch to like a Zoom or something because I don't know what YouTube did with the live streams, but everything's all mixed up now on the screen and everything. As when I record video regular on my camera, everything is fine. So it's not my camera settings. Hey Jean, how are you doing? Okay, now this one goes down here. Need to trim up a little bit. Jess says, I drink all my tea black. Yeah, I have to be careful with how much caffeine I drink anymore, so. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's pretty close. Good enough for who it is. Boy, the wind has really picked up out there. All right, there's the first unit. This kind of looks like a witch's hat. The witch's hat block. Hello, Linda Dollar. How are you doing? Hi, Kay. Uh-oh, something happened to Giovanna. What happened? Did you delete her? Honestly, I tend to add brandy to my tea, and it's always good with that. That is a good idea. It's good to see you too, Linda. Oh, it timed her out? Okay. Sorry, Giovanna. Let me go up and see. View deleted message. Just simply black cayenne tea. Let's see. Oh, real chai and Swahili and Thai means tea, if you want to know. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I like the spicy chai tea. Let's see. It won't let me fix it from here. The only way I could fix it is if I add you as a moderator. I wonder how long did it time her out? Well, sorry, Giovanna. She didn't mean to do it. Hi, Crystal. How's it going? Okay. Now this block should be 6.5. Yep. I think I got a little bit of bulge over here on this side. That's what happens if you don't use starch on your fabric before you cut and sew, in my opinion. 6.5. So I always like to check my unit. So this is called a unit of the block, okay? Always check those before you go on and make sure they're the size that you need them to be. If you're following a pattern. And that's one way to keep things all lined up. See, my 1/4 of an inch in sewing is a little less than a 1/4 of an inch. So my little units like this are always going to be a little bit bigger than what they're supposed to be. But, you know, that's okay with me. Like I said earlier, I'd rather have them be a little bit bigger so I can, you know, trim them down to the right size. Because you can't trim up. Hey, Mona, thanks for posting those. I don't know why my Nightbot quit working, but one of these days I need to fix everything. Is Giovanna back yet? So that looks pretty good. I'm not quite like, these are supposed to be lined up right here. It's a little off, but you know, it's not enough for me to fix it. I don't need to be that perfect. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next ones. I really appreciate you doing that, Mona. Thank you very much. You are awesome, Mona. Did you notice how long my hair is getting, you guys? I think it's time for another haircut. Valerie wants to know how Moxie is. Okay, on to the next one. All right. Alrighty, so I have to have one of these because it's a different color. That goes there. White, and this goes there. Color goes here. Is that right? Yep. And then one of these go here. I'm doing okay, Crystal. Thank you. She said, I was just going to say about how long your hair has gotten since I seen your lives. Yeah, it's really, really grown. I didn't realize it till earlier today. She's laying over there on her dog bed. She gave up on the dog bone that she was chewing on. The other thing I pretty much have to do on these is pin, you know. Some blocks or subunits, as I call them, I don't need to pin. So that's what you know, each one of these pieces is called a subunit. I don't know if I made that up or if that's true, but that's what I call it. And then after you get all these subunits together, this is called a unit. This is a unit of the block. And then when I sew 4 of these together, that'll be the block. This could also be called a block if you weren't going to sew the same pieces to it, you know, same units to it. This could be just the block. So it depends on where it is in your quilt. That makes sense. Thank you, Bloomin'. I thought it did. You know, it helps me, you know, to have names for things. So if I'm trying to tell you guys something, I can actually give it a name, right? And of course, I've seen in a lot of patterns and stuff that they call, this is called a unit. I don't know if I've ever seen this called a subunit, but it makes sense. There's that one. Teresa, are you doing? Crystal, I'm working on, yeah, it's kind of a star. Yeah. Sorry, my camera's backwards. It's from the, oh, thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that. I tell you clearly, I appreciate you saying that. Okay. That looks good. What a beautiful day. You like that pattern? That's from the Sew Sampler box. I am going to chain piece. So I think I will put together a couple more so I can chain piece. This goes here. This one goes here. Like that. And I need one more, so that goes there. There. And this one. Okay. So here we go. Chain piecing. One after the other. We have a few new quilters here, and so that's one reason why I'm trying to be a little more clear, if I can talk. Give things names to help them out. So, chain piecing is just when you do one right after the other without breaking the thread or cutting the thread. TeresaLouise, do you have a good pro? What is that? Oh no, Shelly. It's been working the seam ripper on and off all day. Oh, welcome back, Giovanna. I'm sure you saw that Kay did not mean to time you out. Mona does not remember terms. In one ear and out the other. Blumen says, because I'm a beginner quilting, that all looks so confusing to me, but I know as I learn, it will all make sense and fit together. Exactly. So everybody's saying, welcome back, Giovanna. Hi, Debbie Horton. How's it going? Okay. So whenever you have an opportunity to chain piece like this, do it because it makes your sewing go faster. You can chain sew, chain iron, chain cut. 920. Woo. Or 3:20, I mean, 9:20. It's not that late here. Oh, how do you guys like the time change? Oh, wasn't that fun this morning? Okay, so that's the end. So here's the chain. That is why they call it chain piecing. Because it's the chain gang. Oh, and web press, yeah. I don't really like to web press. It just never works out for me. Yeah, time change is a killer. I agree. I do love having more daylight, but they just need to leave it on this. Bloomin says, I made the mistake of blocking someone on a channel I'm a mod in, but I quickly realized my mistake and go back and unblock them. It happens sometimes. Yeah, it does happen. Yeah, that's right, Carrie. She says, just make sure your pieces are arranged the way you want them, or you'll be chain ripping. That's for sure. We don't want to do any chain ripping, and I hit my knee. And we can be there. I had to stand up for a few minutes. Stretch my back. Boy, I can't believe how much the wind is blowing out there. Sometimes the seam just will not stay down. All right, I'll set these two aside. So this one on here. Oop. No, I haven't finished cutting those off. Okay, hold on a second. I'll be right back. It's like a Chinook wind out there. Oh, well, I get to sit here and visit for a minute. Oh, GoPro camera? No, I don't have a GoPro camera. Is that what the kind I need to get to have double camera angles? I'd like to get my laptop working well enough to use the webcam on it. And then I could just hook up my cell phone to it, I think. Oh, yeah, we don't change feeding time either. We just have to start earlier or later. Doesn't really matter what time the clock says. Yeah, something's wrong when it's dark at 4:30. I cannot stand that. That's, who wants it to be dark at 4:30? Not me. Everyone's live times are different now. No, mine's, yeah. I mean, if you change your clock, I'm still at 2 o'clock, but really was 1 o'clock. Oh yeah, Bloomin', that is, I got that chair cover is actually a pillow cover that I got in a sewing swap on Facebook from another gal. But it is really pretty, isn't it? I like it here. But really, it's a pillow form, so I could use it. But I really like it on the back of my chair. So that's where I put it. But she did a really beautiful job. Yeah, it is the Facebook swap, Lisa Marie, Crafting with Lisa Marie. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, yeah, they do a swap like every 6 weeks or so. And they make things and they swap the things that they make. And Shannon Rhodes made that pillow. She also made the bee that is on the wall here behind me. And a few other things. Oh, I wish they didn't change the time in Idaho, Joyce. Yeah, that orange really pops, doesn't it? Carrie, that's funny. I can deal, but my dogs expect me to go to bed as soon as it gets dark. I know, right? My dog, um, she'll just go to bed without us now. Brandon's dog, the black lab, or chocolate lab, I mean. She'll get tired of waiting and she'll just go in there. But sometimes she wants you to turn the night light on, or the lamp, So we got to go in and turn the lamp on and get everything ready like we're going to bed. And then she'll lay down and go to bed. And then, we can go back out and watch TV if we want to. I know, Gary, they tease us. I've been hearing it for a couple of years now. Next year, we're not going to change the time, you know, but they do it every year. So, yeah, I'm just going to quit believing it. You're not sure, Teresa? All right. Okay. Now, now I can chain piece again. Looks good. All right, this one goes here. Yeah, they need to stop. I agree. Stop changing it. I think if a business or whatever, you know, wants to change with the light and dark, they should change their hours. Not me, not everybody else. Like, if you're a farmer, you're going to get up when it's daylight or before daylight. Anyway, it doesn't matter what time it is. Doesn't matter what the time says. You're going to get up early and go out and feed or whatever it is you're doing. Okay, Giovanna, rest well. Hope you get some sleep. Carrie, I am visiting my daughter next month in Bangor. Bangor. I hope there's no snow. Everybody's saying goodnight, Giovanna. Okay, just going to lurk. I actually got out of the house today and went grocery shopping. I hadn't been down to the grocery store in a while. Yeah, that's for sure, Teresa. Dogs train their owners. Carrie says, I am really enjoying my cutie breeze frame. I just need to hurry up and save for a bigger machine to put on it. Well, good. I'm glad it's working for you. Anyway. Hey, Kathy. How's it going, girl? I'm working on the quilt pattern from the Sew Sampler box of last December. It's called Snowdrift. Good to see you. Lori says, Teresa, that's true. She received an F from her dog today. Yeah, we did too, because we didn't change the clocks. And so, you know, I got up earlier, but Brandon didn't. And he feeds the dogs. That's his job. And so the dogs had to, didn't get fed at their normal time. Oh, well, of course. I'm always happy to see you. Terry says, oh, gosh darn it, I just got a pop-up. I hate that. I just got a mini frame, and I'm using it now. Been posting videos since I got it. Okay, 2 more chain pieces. Are those crocheted squares behind you on the Valerie down on the floor? Yes, they're granny squares. Oh, that's true, Valerie. And we all have electrical lights now, so why change the time? Yeah, there you go. The only time I really liked it was when I was a kid, and because at some point you're walking to the school bus, it's dark, and then the time changes and it's light again. That was the only time I liked it. Oh no, Kathy, that's too bad. She said the neighbor's chicken got killed by a golden retriever. It wandered over into somebody else's yard. Oh, that's sad that that happens. Some dogs don't know the difference between farm animals and wild animals. When I had chickens, when I lived in Oregon, I had a different border collie. His name was Curly. And uh, I had to teach him not to chase the chickens. And then I picked up a stray cat. So then I had to teach him not to kill cats. Which by the time I got the cat, he was older and not quite as crotchety. And so that wasn't as hard. But border collies are sneaky dogs. They're sly, okay? So he would sneak out and go sneak up on the chickens. And I like my chickens to be free range, you know. Oops. All right. Okay, that one's okay. I sewed this one on wrong. Gosh darn it. Here comes Jack. All right. Here's how I use my seam ripper. I pick out the first couple of stitches, and then I pull it back. All right, this ball that's on there goes under the thread. The sharp piece goes on top. So the sharp piece will poke out of the top, possibly, okay? Then I hold the fabric in the back here, and I push my seam ripper forward. Now you need a sharp seam ripper to do this. Just push it forward, but when you get to the seams, you have to be a little more careful. Okay, just push it forward. Sometimes when it gets to the seams, it kind of gets stuck there. So just be careful. All right. Here we go. Ready? Oh, I almost made it to the end. There. Then you just have a long thread on the back or the front, whatever. Yeah, I was busy looking at the chat. Didn't pay attention to where yeah, so what I had to do, because he kept going out to sneak up on the chickens to chase them and kill them. He only got one. But me telling him no was not working, okay? So in the back of the house, we had an area that was what I called the breezeway, but it was just like a little porched area that was partly not completely built in, but it was surrounded by lattice. And you could see over the lattice. So I know some of you are going to think this was really mean, but it's better than shooting the dog. So I let him out. I let him out one door, and I went out the other door, and I snuck around to the back, and I had a slingshot, and I crawled up so I could see over the lattice, got my slingshot ready, and as soon as he started to go after the birds, I shot him in the butt. And that was it. That was the last time. And he didn't see me because then I hid, so he didn't know it was me that did it. I think he thought the chicken did it because he never chased another chicken after that. Yeah, that's true, Pat. Blumen says, okay, she thinks that was funny. Good, thank you. Uh, then we had a chocolate lab that liked to, I also had pigeons, and she wouldn't chase the chickens, but oh my goodness, she loved to chase after the pigeons. Now, she never caught one, but the pigeons would come out and, they would be mulling around, eating bird food and stuff like that. And she would kind of sneak up, and then she would go after them, and they would just, fly up in the air. And she just thought that was great fun. She she wasn't trying to kill them or, eat them or anything like that. She was just having fun chasing them. So, yeah, I was a pretty good shot with the slingshot and my shotgun. I never shot with it at him with the shotgun, but I used to do like trap shoots, and I won quite a few trap shoots with my shotgun. And Brandon and I used to goof around shooting the shotguns. We had a machine that pulled the traps, and we practiced quite a bit. Okay. Yeah. Quilting. Yeah, I haven't tried the slingshot in quite a few years. I mean, we're talking like, well, that has to be over 10 years ago. Okay, that looks better. That one's done. That one's done. Hey, I did 4 units. Hi, Day. How's it going? Now I get to sew those 4 units together. All right, let's see how to put them together. Let's see. Goes this way, and then the hat. Okay, the hat goes that way. Then the hat goes this way. Then the hat goes this way. I'm calling this piece the hat. And then this one goes this way. There. Hey, that looks pretty good. So you make 2 blocks using the same colors. The weather was pretty good, Kathy. We did get some snow the other day, where it snowed for like 4 or 5 hours, but the weather was so warm out afterwards that it just melted. So it didn't stick. And we still have snow on the ground. Some places it's pretty thick or pretty deep. But it's melting. Right now it's windy, really windy out. Okay, there's that one. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't want to get on her bad side and get shot in the butt. Have shotgun, will shoot. Hi, Denise. Teresa, have you ever had to get away from a bear where you live? No. I've lived in rural mountain areas most of my life and been up camping and in, you know, wooded areas, you know. We even went camping when I was a kid. And out of all of that time, I've only seen a wild bear once. And, you know, I go huckleberrying and berry picking every year, and I still haven't seen a bear. But I always am prepared. Just because I haven't seen one doesn't mean they're not there. Because I have seen bear droppings, so I know they're around. So I have a side arm that I take with me when I go pick up berries. I call it my little huckleberry. And of course, I have my dogs, or I have Willa. And just having a dog around helps because, you know, dogs leave their scent. And, you know, the bear doesn't want to be hassled, you know. The bear doesn't want to be shot. Yeah, I could make a rug out of one. Yeah. I have enough cougar rugs. I don't need a bear rug. Oh, you're making this, Kathy? Awesome. Okay, there's that one. I'll go this way. I'll just finger press. And then this one will go that way. Also, opposite seams. Oh, really, Jean? That is funny. She said, I've lived in the city my whole life, and I've seen 2 wild black bears up in the trees. That's funny. What part of Idaho? By Grangeville, Idaho, which is the biggest city would be Lewiston, which is north. Picture the Rocky Mountains, that type of area. Thanks, June. How are you doing today? As soon as I get this done, I'm probably going to go ahead and sign off because I'll be on for 2 hours. Yes, Kathy. Brandon and I used to go hunting all the time. But Brandon is 75 years old now. And he doesn't quite have the same energy as he used to. He likes to go hunting. It's a lot of work to process an animal with the skinning and the gutting and cutting the animal up and all that. So he didn't go hunting last year, but we used to go hunting quite a bit. So elk, deer. He neither one of us like the taste of bear, so we didn't go hunting for bear. He would get a cougar tag because just to help with control, but we ate cougar, so. Or maybe you call it a mountain lion. They're pretty tasty, really. And Brandon used to go bird hunting quite a bit. There is that block. Okay, there is a lot of fabric in the middle. And my points don't match up. Let's see. I might pick that out and fix it because I think my 1/4 of an inch is a little shy there, right in the middle. If I go a little deeper, especially on this one side, yeah. See, I'll show you. It doesn't quite line up. See. But it's pretty close. It's pretty close. There. Oh, thanks, Roundup. Sunday blessings and positivity. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll either press the seam open or I will rotate the center. So yeah, I'll rotate the center. So when you rotate the center, it looks like another little block, you know. Let me see if I can smash it down enough to show you. So this one side seam still is going one way, the other one's coming this way, but the center is rotated now. So it won't be as thick. See how it's rotated? And you have to unpick about 3 stitches to get it to lay down like that. Yeah, you might be hearing the wind. Yes, Kathy, I starch my fabric before I even cut it. I starch it, you know, press everything. I use steam and a heavy high setting of steam, and I starch fairly heavy. I mean, I don't soak the fabric, but I do starch it. Press or iron, set it aside. And then if I've used enough in the pre-cutting, if I can talk, I don't use any more starch after that, and I pretty much use a dry iron after that too. It's close enough for you? Okay, good. All right, so that's block 1. Yay! Yeah, I think this is going to be a really pretty quilt. It's too bad this wasn't a free pattern, then more of you guys could do it. And this block is supposed to be 12.5 inches. So let's see how I did. Pretty darn good. I have a little bit of, it's a little bit bigger than 12.5. So I can trim it down. Denise said, I wouldn't have known if you didn't point it out. I know, I shouldn't point those things out. It looks good. It wouldn't be noticed when you put the whole thing together. At least not on YouTube. That's for sure. Yeah, it really is pretty close. I mean, close enough, really. I wouldn't have to fix it. You're right. It probably wouldn't even be noticed. Yeah, I really like this block. Pretty cool. So now sometimes you can buy these patterns through people who have the Sew Sampler box that just want to get rid of their box. So there's a group on Facebook. I think it's called Sew Sampler Swap, something like that. So because this is a Sew Sampler exclusive. You know, I wish they would. I like having an exclusive pattern. I think that's pretty cool. But I think they should release them after a year, right? I would be okay with that. Because I think they could sell a lot of those patterns that are exclusive, you know, if they didn't hide them. Okay. Well, I think that's going to be it. What's for dinner? Uh, steak. Steak, baked potato, salad, maybe some asparagus. Yeah, asparagus. Steak, baked potato, asparagus, and salad. Exactly, Terry. Exactly. She said, yes, they should release it after a year. What is the harm? No plans for the weekend's pretty much over since it's Sunday. We haven't really done anything. Um, I need to get my truck cleaned out and get it ready to go to the bigger city. Good night, Kathy. My dinner sounds delicious. Yeah, I thought so. Thank you. Well, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. I guess I should put the camera up so you can see me, huh? Okay, Shelley. I'll see you soon. She's coming over for dinner. So thanks for joining me, you guys. I really appreciate it. Love seeing you guys on Sundays and, yeah, in the rest of the week too, not just on Sunday. So, oh boy, I'm pooped. I think it's nap time. I had fun too. So nap time for me. I'll see you guys next week, okay? If not sooner. Love y'all. Have a great week. Bye.